Hey there, it's Blair here at Time Trades. Today is Sunday, August 13th, and this is your weekly video. Thanks for joining me this weekend. Today we are going to update our forecast, but first let's review the forecast that we've been tracking so far. So what you're looking at is a line drawn back on July 23rd, I believe, on that weekly video. So we drew this yellow line here, and so far that forecast has been excellent. So I'm going to give myself an A+ for that one. Over 3 weeks, accurately identified the time and price for this target box. So really happy with that forecast. I hope you were able to make some money off of that. Okay, so the obvious question is what's next? So I'm going to rely on the same techniques that I used to make this forecast. That's looking at speed, distance, and alignment of different planets. So let's move forward with that. One of the things I want to start with, and I always start with these, is Gann fans. Whenever new users log on to Time Trades for the first time, they often ask me where to start, and the answer is always the same: start with Gann Fan. So I'm going to go back to basics here, and we're going to turn on Gann fans, and now these are different from the Mars fans that I've used in prior videos. These are not anchored to any Mars cycles. These are anchored to highs and lows. Well, actually, the high close, not the top tick high. Okay, so I want to show you something interesting that I noticed about the October low over here. So if we go over here to the October low, you can see there's a yellow line here. What is this yellow line? All right, so this yellow line is derived from the Gann fan coming down from the October 2022 high. Okay, so we've got a fan there. And then if we go down to 0, what I did is I anchored a Gann fan at 0 on that day, which is August 15th. So if we go all the way down to 0, you can see there's a fan down here anchored at 0 on August 15th as well. So what's this yellow line? The yellow line is where the 8x1s cross, okay? And that happened on October 13th, 2022, and that also identified the low of the 2022 bear market to the day, okay? Right to the tick. So this is another Gann fan technique. There are many, but this is a great technique. And I'm going to be using it a little bit more in my videos because of its success there in identifying that major low. All right, so if we were to apply that idea to where we are right now, you can see I've anchored a Gann fan up here to the high on July 18th. We've got a 1x8 coming down. And I've also anchored a Gann fan at 0. If we zoom out here, you can see the Gann fan coming up from 0, also on July 18th. The yellow line here is where those two 1x8s cross, okay? And that date is, it's probably something to mark in your calendars. Looks like I'm off by a day. We'll shift that over. It's September 27th. So September 27th, September 28th, we've got those two Gann fans crossing right in that date range, you know, plus or minus a day or so. So that is something to watch out for. Could be a major inflection point in the markets if this July 18th high turns out to be a significant high. All right, so Gann fans, very important. Now, what I want to also share with you is an enhancement I made to the time trade script this week. So this is a significant enhancement of something called Venus intervals. And I've been tweeting about this. Let me just hide the Gann fans for a sec so you can see these. Now, these are super powerful. And again, it helps to understand different speed and distance regimes of a key planet in financial astrology, and that's Venus. When you turn this on in the time trade script, you will see purple boxes around and a number in the top left, and the number indicates the interval. The intervals run from 1 to 6. It's just different cycles in the Venus-Earth synodic cycle. So, of course, the two planets are both orbiting the sun, so there's different intervals of speed and distance between the two of them, and you can logically divide those up into 6 intervals, and that's what I've done here and displayed on the stock chart for ease of analysis. So that's all part of the time trade script right now for time trade subscribers. And you can see we're coming up to a significant change here. On the 15th, we're going to exit interval number 6, and on the 16th, we enter interval number 1. So there's a change in regime of speed and distance. Part of that is because of Mercury is going to be conjunct the sun this weekend, so that's going to reset and restart the new interval there. All right, so that is indicating a significant change in the speed and distance regime. And we're entering a new interval here. So that is important information. And also we can go and take a look at time trades here, and we can see within time trades what's going on. I like to also look at the mass pressure index, which shows really a composite of prior moves over the last 6 orbits of Venus. So if you average those out and then project them forward, you can see within the time trades web application here a forecast price. Now, this is not using any machine learning. This is really just bringing forward what happened in the prior 6 Venus orbits and projecting that forward, and you can see prices moving up here. If it matches the average of the prior 6 orbits, we're looking at 385 by August 31st, okay? There's another piece of information here I like to use. When we talk about alignments, we've got the juice indicator here, and the juice is an indicator of planetary alignments. And we can see we've got a juice spike coming up here August 15th. And juice spikes do tend to align with bullish moves in the market. So they can indicate green candles. You can go back and back test that yourself. But on average, they do tend to have bigger up moves than normal. Okay, so all of that is leaning towards a reversal here. We haven't even talked about being on a magic level yet. That's this white line here. That's a magic level at NQ 15126 about. So magic levels are important support and resistance levels in my work. They are effectively Fibonacci spirals. So that's important to keep in mind. We tend to see, they tend to be strong areas of support and resistance, and we probed below that on Friday. Okay, and then finally, I want to take a look at SPX, because the SPX Mass Pressure Index is also looking quite strong. So let's turn off juice and let's turn on Mass Pressure Index. So this is the monthly weekly Mass Pressure Index, and this is calculated based on 60, 20, and 10 years of history. Very few symbols have that much price history, but SPX and DJI do. So we can see here that we've got a red weekly candle followed by a green followed by a red. However, we're starting to look at, especially 3 weeks out by the end of August, we're looking at higher highs here in the candles. Okay, so maybe another probe lower, but then a higher high. But then if we look at the mass pressure index daily, this is the one that's based on Venus and is based on just the last 6 orbits of Venus. So you can see that is much more bullish, and it's calling for a higher high around 4,600. Again, these are more indicative of pivots and direction. I don't use these to forecast actual price. We may end up making a new all-time high. We are up at 4,600, or we may make a lower high before that. So anyways, I think we've got enough information to update our forecast. So let's go back into TradingView and do that. So the updated forecast I'm going to share with you here is up based on the information that I covered. And we've got a new target rectangle over here, kind of centered around this orange magic level at 15,700. Another reason for this is if you put a fib retracement, and this assumes that Friday's low holds, okay, which is an assumption, then we'll see a retracement, you know, up around between the 618 and the 786 area, with a little bit of buffer on either side. Okay, so that's the new target box. But so the other piece of information that let me line up the time here on this target box is based on the Gann waves. So this is a lunar cycle. So we can take a look at Gann waves, and we can see here we've got a Gann wave green, which is 0 in that lunar cycle, and then that's followed by a Gann wave blue. So what we're looking at is kind of a 7-day period between green and blue, where we may see the indexes achieve that target price. After that, I don't really have an opinion other than I think we could be in for a big move either way, right? Starting early September, we could it could go either way, strong up, strong down. The Gann wave configuration, if this indeed plays out, the Gann wave configuration is basically in an inversion where we would have a high price around Gann wave blue. Gann wave blue tends to be a low, right? I much prefer like that tends to indicate continuations of trend when you see a low on a blue and a high on a yellow. But when we have a high on a blue, that's not so great, because if we look over here at the 2021 high, we can take a look at the Gann waves here. And what happened here is the high just before the drop was on a blue. So I'm very, I guess, aware of what happened back in the 2021 high. The high close was actually on a green, and then the blue was an update, but that preceded the major drop. And that, of course, led to the bear market in 2022. So I'm basically what I'm seeing starting late August, early September is you know, there's potential for a big move in either way. And I think we've got the right tools that we can use to profit from that, using a combination of time trades to identify the time when these big moves happen, and smart execution like buy stops and sell stops to let price elect the direction that we want to trade in. Okay, so that's the update for this week. We've got our new forecast there. Hopefully that plays out as successfully as it did the last one. Okay, so let's go and take a look at Bitcoin now. We're going to flip over to timetrades.com and let's take a look at Bitcoin. If you're not familiar with timetrades.com, this is a website that I built to research and execute on timing And I wanted to really make financial astrology more accessible. And I also wanted to take advantage of the latest in machine learning technology. So this is what I've been building personally over the last 4 years. And you're welcome to come and try it out. I like to share my work with everyone. So please come join us. Now, what you're looking at here is Bitcoin. I mentioned machine learning, and when we turn on the non-directional probabilities, you can see the machine learning generated forecast here. So I did make some updates to the machine learning engine over the last week or so, because I wasn't very happy with the Bitcoin forecast. It was very sort of homogeneous. Everything looked the same. So I did make some improvements. What I'm trying to do is just reduce the amount of data that the machine learning has to choose from, and that has ironically, or counterintuitively, I should say, increased accuracy and also increase the variation in the forecast. So we've got a nice variation here now in the Bitcoin forecast, which is great. We've got a spike up starting August 21, and that aligns really well with this daily mass pressure index. So we can see this moving up strongly, and that, of course, assumes that price follows what happened in the average of the last 6 Venus Helios cycles. So, what I would suggest in terms of trading this, we've got a nice confluence here between the machine learning and the mass pressure index. I would suggest putting a buy stop and a sell stop around this range. I think we can confidently say there's going to be a big move coming up here around the 18th, 19th, 20th. And we can also say that once the move starts, it's going to continue probably until, if it matches the mass pressure index here, it could continue until the end of August. Okay, so what we are unsure of is the direction. So this is where using tools like buy stops and sell stops can come into play, and this allows the market to basically elect the direction for us, and we can take advantage of the information we have here about when this big move is going to start and how long it's going to persist for. Okay, so that's Bitcoin. Definitely a bit of a bullish bias here based on the mass pressure index, but don't trade based on those assumptions and anticipation. Just wait for the market to confirm. All right. Next up, I want to spend some time on gold. Gold's at a really interesting juncture here, and with the mass pressure index on, we can see that gold is got a forecast for a bit of a sideways grind, but then we start to see a bit of a pump up into early September. So I really like this potential here for gold. I'd like it even more if there was some more confluence with the machine learning forecast. We don't see that at the moment. However, what we do see is we're starting to see a bit of a bottoming pattern here. And one of the things that you can do here is turn on tools like Gann Fans and square the chart, and you can just line things up a little bit so that you've got a clear signal when so we can use the 1-by-1 line coming down here from this recent high on May 4th and use that as a good signal to enter when we get a confirmation signal higher. So we've got a Gann Fan cross over here, August 23rd. That could be part of the trigger here to that launches gold up. So seeing a lot of potential on gold here. Maybe a little early to enter, but definitely something to keep on the watch list. Okay, so we're going to close today's call with with a look at the Nifty 50, and again, the Nifty has a great set of Gann fans that it has been respecting over the last little while. And as we zoom in here, something I want to call out is this block of purple. So these bars are based on actual, so the system knows what price did. So you'll notice that these are based on the probability of a 5-day move greater than 1.5 standard deviations. So we can see here that we had a so when we're comparing these bars here, we're comparing it against the price 5 days ago. So up over here about. So all this is saying, really, this purple here is saying that based on price 5 days ago, we are more than 1.5 standard deviations below the mean. Now, what we see coming up, we've got a Gann Fan cross here, or we had one on the 11th, and we have an increasing probability of moves. So I think given the change in speed and distance regime that we see in the financial astrology, there's an opportunity here for a long trade. I'm assuming here that the Nifty is going to follow the other indexes up. And I think we've got a chance at a good long trade. The Nifty showing relatively more strength here than the Nasdaq. So what we are learning from the time trades forecast is it looks like we've got probabilities of a strong move through August 24th. So we can use that information to our advantage. And once we get confirmation of a move starting, then we can trade that through till late August using this price forecast that we've got here. Okay, so that's it for me. I hope you had a great week trading. Good luck this week. Manage your risk, and we'll talk to you later. Thank you.